What is something big that you have changed your mind about?
I guess one thing I've learned is that the Republicans in Washington are complete hypocrites when it comes to fiscal policy in this country. When I went to the Senate, I never would have imagined that anybody could be as hypocritical as they are. Hold on, Kirsten Gillibrand gave me all the questions, so I'm gonna. I'll tell you, after I yelled at Ted Cruz on the Senate floor, and there was article after article about how mild-mannered Michael Bennet had gotten in a fight with Ted Cruz, my daughter was watching it that night with her roommates in college, and she heard my voice, and she said, "Oh no, I've heard that voice before. That's not the person that I know." My first paying job was painting houses. Our painting style resembled the Three Stooges, and that's why we called it the Three Stooges Painting Company.
You guys would watch what you're doing, you wouldn't make so many mistakes.
Before I was in the Senate, I had the great privilege of being superintendent of the Denver Public Schools, and I came face to face with the inequities in America, the civil rights inequities, the legacy of slavery, of Jim Crow, and now of mass incarceration. Seeing in one part of the city, kids having access to high-quality teachers and high-quality curriculum, and on the other side of town, seeing the opposite of that. That is true all over America. We've got a system of public education in this country that's reinforcing the economic inequality that we have instead of liberating people from it. A huge amount of that is a civil rights issue in my mind. In fact, there's really no reason for the federal government to be involved in education except for the civil rights component, but we are failing very badly on that. It would be the lack of economic mobility in America, the fact that we've got the greatest income inequality that we've had in 100 years. I felt really burnt out when I was superintendent in closing schools in Denver, which was an incredibly draining experience for me and for the people whose communities were being affected. How do you deal with that is, I think, by reminding yourself of what's at stake and how important the work is and what role we all as individuals have to play in this country to make it a better place, to make it more democratic, to make it more fair, and to make it more free. I think that needs to be the work of every American citizen. Donald Trump says, "I alone can fix it." It's not about one person. It's about America taking responsibility for our democracy and for this exercise in self-governance. And I can't think of anything that's more inspiring than that. I was recovering from surgery and watching the show Atlanta, which is awesome. And there was a track that I had never heard before, and it turned out it was by a group called Little Huey and the Babysitters from Chicago, late 60s. He died right as they were releasing the record. Anyway, nobody else likes it, but I thought it was unbelievable. I actually have the answer. Gene Hackman.
I'm about the best there is.
Again, I'm talking a lot about schools today, but schools have more impact on anybody's life than anything but their family. And when I go back to Denver now, I meet kids all the time who are not the first kid in their family to go to college because their older brother or older sister was able to go to college because of the way we changed the work that was going on in Denver Public Schools. We have 62% more kids graduating and going to college than when I became the superintendent. We have massive achievement gaps still. We have massive inequities and unfairnesses still, but we have made a lot of progress. And that's been the most gratifying thing in my life. People are really reluctant at the idea that we're going to create more health care for people by taking insurance away from 180 million people that get it through their employer. So I think a plan that says, if you like your insurance, we're going to take it away from you, I think it's going to be incredibly hard to accomplish. My view is that we should finish the job that Obamacare started by creating a robust public option. Mine is called Medicare X. It would be managed by Medicare and be available to everybody in America as a choice. If they don't want private insurance anymore, they could buy this public option. I was born in New Delhi, India, and that has massively shaped my view of the world. My parents were there working for our embassy, and it was during the height of the Cold War, and that legacy is still with us today. But to understand as part of my heritage that America has a special responsibility to try to do useful things in the rest of the world, and I still believe that. I try to get 6. I love to get 8. My worst habit is, I guess, that I will sleep at any moment that I can when I'm not working or hanging out with my family. My family, my wife Susan and my daughters Caroline, Helena, and Anne, who are 19, 18, and 14. Weirdly, I was their superintendent when they were in school, and then we went into this crazy job of being in the Senate, which is something I never anticipated or expected, and we've done every single step of it together, and if they weren't part of my life, and if they didn't love me and let me love them, this experience would be hollow. Voted for the Iran nuclear deal. They didn't want me to do it because it was a terrible vote for me. I was up for re-election. I was the most vulnerable Democrat in the country. And voting against the Iran deal would have given me the opportunity to separate myself from Barack Obama, and it would have given me the opportunity to separate myself from anything that the Iranians were going to do, because we had no idea what they would do if they entered the agreement. So it was really, really high risk, but it would have been completely the wrong thing to do. And I think Donald Trump's blowing up of that Iran deal now, and everything that has resulted since then has just underscored for me why that was the right vote. How are you really going to get it done? There is nothing progressive about not making progress. And we have been tyrannized by the Freedom Caucus for the last 10 years. Those guys need to be beaten or closed over. Somehow we need to reach out to the broader population in America with some bold initiatives that are broadly supported in America, so we can overcome the intransigence of these people that have dismantled our government. If we don't do that, we will not be able to govern.
We have a question for all the other candidates from Senator Cory Booker. Will you commit to supporting the Democratic nominee, whoever it is?
Yes. The one app I cannot live without is Waze. Waze is like a pollster. If you have a pollster that you don't trust, it makes everybody's life miserable. And if you don't trust Waze and you're using it, it makes everybody's life miserable as well. That app has made more of a difference to my mental health than any other technology in the last 10 years. I think that we've got an incredibly diverse field in all respects. It makes me very proud to be a Democrat. I don't think America knows what the National Democratic Party stands for anymore, and I think we're going to have a competition of ideas, a competition of personalities, a competition of backgrounds, and the American people are going to be able to decide who they want to have go head-to-head with Donald Trump. And I think that's great for the Democratic Party and great for our democracy.
More 2020 candidates are coming your way. Drop us a comment below and let us know what you'd like to ask them. You can also check out more presidential contenders in our full 20 Questions for 2020 playlist. And be sure to subscribe to NowThis so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for watching.